Have you ever stood so still that the wind began to speak through your bones? Not just a breeze brushing your skin, but something older, a memory older than memory, rising through your marrow like a forgotten hymn. It didn't announce itself with language, it came as sensation, as pulse, as presence. And in that moment, did you feel yourself vanish into it? Or did you step back, like you always do, into the safe corridors of thought, where everything can be named, tamed, boxed, and explained? This is the fracture point, the place where your spirit stretches thin between what it knows and what it is. Not the mind that calculates, compares, constructs. No, something beneath that, behind that, before that. A raw, tender exposure to the great humming body of being. And yet, we've grown allergic to immediacy. We've mistaken contemplation for control. We simulate wildness through metaphors, talk of transcendence in neatly formatted sentences, but few dare to throw themselves into the undressing storm of experience. We have curated lives, groomed selves, edited feelings, and so we tiptoe around the altar, taking pictures instead of praying. We speak of grief with PowerPoint slides, talk of awakening in pastel memes, and post about inner peace during commercial breaks from our disconnection. But real transformation, the kind that undoes you, it doesn't come gently. It's not the spa treatment version of growth. It is collapse, it is ache, it is standing naked in the temple of your undoing, not knowing if you'll ever return. There is a brutality in beauty and a softness in the abyss. The mystics knew this. They burned for it. They kissed the edge and called it God. They let their names fall from their mouths like ash and became silence in motion. Because some truths can only be swallowed whole. They cannot be digested intellectually. They must be wept into, danced into, bled into. There is no syllabus for this kind of knowing. There is only surrender, and even that word is a doorway, not the thing itself. Can you feel it? The invitation that's been waiting not just outside of you, but deep within you, in your breath, in your dreams, in your loneliness, in the moments you almost remembered who you were before the world told you who to be. There's a wildness that still lives in you, a primal clarity, a sacred forgetting. But to touch it, you must become unmade. You must leave the path and become the forest. You must stop being the cartographer and become the terrain. And if you do, if you dare to give up the map and enter the land without coordinates, you will not be greeted by a chorus of angels or a choir of certainty. No! You will meet the ancient beasts that have lived in your belly since the dawn of your breath, the ones you denied when you chose coherence over truth, the ones who speak not in words but in tremors. You will taste your shame again, not as a flaw but as a teacher. You will hold your longing like a fever, trembling in your ribs. And your intellect, the finely tuned machine of defense, will sputter and stall some, because the landscape you are entering cannot be analyzed, only inhabited. This is not metaphor. This is not symbolic language. This is a place, a living terrain. The place before language, before selfhood, before division. And it is from here that all art, all love, all madness, all prayer originates, the womb of the world. But entering it comes at a cost. You will lose the ability to narrate yourself. You will forget the performance. You will not know if you are sane, if you are safe, if you are even you anymore. And that is the doorway. That is the price. Not because the universe is cruel, but because the veil you are piercing was never placed by God, but by you. You created this observer self to survive, to manage, to arrange. And it did its job well. It made a life out of avoidance. It crafted a self that could walk through the maze without breaking. But now the maze is collapsing. Now the walls you leaned on are evaporating. And the observer, the great internal manager, is panicking. It's not ready to dissolve. It doesn't trust what lies beyond reflection. It says, "What are you without me?" And that's the moment you must choose. You can retreat into the sterile safety of analysis, or you can fall, not down, but into the heat, into the breath, into the blood language of the body, into the chaos that births cosmos, into the experience that devours all roles and returns you to essence. For this is not a journey forward, it is a spiral inward, a shedding, a remembering. And the mystics tried to tell us this over and over again, but we turned their fires into doctrines, their dances into dogmas. We built shrines to their ashes, but never stepped into the flames ourselves. We studied their words like fossils, but the real invitation was never to repeat their path. It was to ignite our own, to descend into our unique crucible of becoming and emerge not as someone better, but as someone true. But what does it mean to be someone true? Not polished, not enlightened, not healed beyond recognition, but true, in the trembling, sweating, gasping sense. To be true is not to be consistent, but to be congruent, to feel the texture of life against your bare skin and not flinch away, to weep when it's time to weep, to rage when the storm rises in you, to touch joy not through concept, but through the trembling of your hands as you hold something fleeting and let it go anyway. It is not cleanliness but rawness, not control but presence, and yet we are terrified of this kind of aliveness. We prefer the simulation, the shadow play, the carefully curated persona who pretends to be whole while secretly shattering beneath the surface. The world rewards such performances. It gives medals for endurance, applause for repression. But life, real life, doesn't care about your image. It only wants your participation. It wants your breath, your howl, your surrender. And it will keep knocking louder and louder until your strategies fail, until your coping mechanisms crack, until you find yourself on your knees in the dark, not begging for answers, but finally ready to listen. This is the holy moment, not one of triumph but of undoing, the place where your story halts and something deeper begins to speak, not with words but with silence, a silence that pulses, vibrates, sings beneath everything, and if you stay there, not escape, not explain, you will begin to feel something awaken, not an idea, not a solution, but a sensation, a knowing that you are not outside of life. You are inside it. You are it. There is no watcher, no watched, only the watching, only the breath, only the pulse. And in this moment, the split begins to dissolve. The binary collapses. There is no dancer and dance, no thinker and thought. There is only movement, only fire, only the heartbeat of being drumming its old rhythm through your newly cracked ribs. And it will hurt, yes, but not because something is wrong. It hurts because the armor is falling away. It hurts because your soul is stretching its wings through the stone walls of identity. This is the ache of emergence, and it is holy. You will not look like a guru. You will not look like a sage. You will look like someone who has been struck by lightning and survived, ash in your hair, wonder in your bones, unexplainable peace where panic used to live.